Warning. This video explores mature themes that some viewers might find disturbing. If you or anyone you know needs help, please visit the link provided in the description. Thank you. You're back on the night bus where it all started. You're sitting alone in the back looking out of the window as the lights of the Reeperbahn flicker as you drive past. In your hand you're holding the black metal barbed wire. This time, as you wrap the wire around your wrists, you say his name over and over again until it turns into a quiet chant. Tenzin, Tenzin, Tenzin. A tinny, sharp sound jerks you back into reality. You raise your head to see where the sound is coming from. It's an EDM song playing from a small, crappy speaker. A young man and a young woman are sitting a couple of rows in front of you. The woman holds up her phone between their heads, listening to the song as they talk in low and excited voices. You're riding through a narrow street with huge black buildings stretching up on each side. Now and then you pass a gap between the buildings and you can catch a glance of something moving down the street. It's a dark shadow backlit by cold blue light from somewhere between the buildings. It twirls and spins as it moves at the same speed of the bus, and it reminds you of a large puppet. Eventually, you lose sight of it and notice that the young couple are looking at you. It seems best to pretend you didn't notice them, staring out the window as you carefully unwind the barbed wire from your wrists to put it back in your pocket. It doesn't make the couple stop staring, though. So you just tune them out and stare out the window. They're pretty much dead anyway, just like the stag party guys, but what can you do about it? The bus enters the harbor area. The fog from the docks cover the street in a milky white blanket. Rows and rows of warehouses and shipping containers line the street. Your phone buzzes just as you're approaching where you think the club should be. You pick up the phone and see that you have a text message from Christian. It says, "I bet your dreams are so vivid now. I'm not sure they're dreams anymore. You want to be punished. You want your skin torn off and fed to you. You want to be whipped while you crawl through your own blood and piss. But you're so fucking weak. You're just an animal that wants nothing more than to be humiliated and hurt. You are in their flock. I'll see you soon." You don't have time to write anything back, and you're not sure what to respond anyway. That's when you notice the bus slowing down. This time, the bus doesn't stop at the club entrance. Instead, the bus comes to a standstill amongst narrow livestock corrals that lead between the warehouses. As you leave the bus, you're hit by the sharp smell of manure, and your hearing is overwhelmed by the sound of thousands of animals being pushed through the fenced-off corridors. You're able to tell that the warehouse in front of you is probably the one where you found Tenzin. You recognize the narrow metal bridge from the warehouse containing the club. If you could get in the same way that the animals are, then you would probably get back to Tenzin. You can't go in amongst the animals though, as you will be trampled and torn to pieces. You notice a lever on the outer wall of the warehouse. As you pull it, the doors slide shut, trapping the animals inside. You climb over the fence and make your way into the warehouse where you found Tenzin. Once inside, you are careful to keep away from the animals. Just like last time you were here, the sound of anguish from the creatures are deafening, and the cold blue light from the construction lamps make their shadows seem like a flood of darkness. You soon notice the metal landing that you came in through the last time, and the dark corridor that led to where you found Tenzin. There it is, you think, as you are hurrying through the large area. You're trying to stay hidden in the shadows, and whenever an electrical burst lights up the room, you crouch down. As you enter the corridor, you see a large metal door slightly ajar at the end of the hall. You stop for a moment, hesitating, remembering the hideous creature inside. Quietly, you make your way up to the door. The room is dark, and it smells of rot, ammonia, and manure. The beast isn't here, so you run to the cage. "Tenzin," you whisper. I've come back to get you out of here." But there's no answer. In the low light, you can't really make out if anyone is inside the cage, so you use your phone as a flashlight. That's when your heart sinks as you see that Tenzin is not here and the cage is empty. You look around the room, trying to find out where he might have gone. You search the room systematically to find him. When moving a couple of crates, you find something else though, a rusty steel pipe lying on the ground. You think that this might come in handy, so you hold on to it. But there is no trace of Tenzin, so you turn back towards the cage, and as you do, you see something interesting on the floor. Rivulets of what looks like blood run along the floor from the cage. You follow the marks and find that they continue beneath the straw that is covering the floor. Sweeping away the straw, you find a hatch. He must have been taken this way, you think to yourself as you open the hatch and descend into the darkness. You find yourself in a dark, narrow tunnel. The floor and walls are made out of stone, and the tunnel leads towards a faint light in the distance. It's daylight, you discover at the end of the tunnel. Wasn't it night just a moment ago? As you make your way outside, you stop, surprised at the sight. You're standing in what looks like a shanty town. Low buildings made out of plastic, steel sheets, and wood dot the area. The ground is dusty and barren. There are no green trees, just some dry brown bushes. In the distance, you spot huge mountains behind a low-hanging fog that wraps itself around the village like a lover. The faint dusk rays only barely break through the fog at times, filling the dark village with long shadows. The only colors in here are some clothes hanging from a clothesline. They look like Tibetan monastic robes. To your right is a large pool of water. To your left, just off a dry mud field, is a narrow alley through the houses. You move to the black pool. It's maybe 10 meters across. There's a fence leading down to the pool on the opposite side. The animals are probably let down there to drink. You slowly walk down the dusty path towards the water, watching the surface, which is completely still. Unnaturally still. There's a smell when you reach the water. It's a familiar and very unexpected smell. The smell of chlorine. Swimming pool water. For a split second, the smell takes you back to being 4 years old in the water with your parents. You feel Tenzin's grip around your wrist as he cuts your finger with the razor blade. Uneasily, you turn to leave when you hear something coming from the water. It's a hymn. It's a hymn being sung. The same hymn that you've heard looking in your bathroom mirror. And then a voice whispers, Come to the water." You turn around and leave the pool behind you. Nothing good could come from staying here, you think. You turn towards the dry mud field. Soon it turns into a low rocky hill. The ground is still dusty and dry, but it's gravel rather than the mud down in the village. A faint gray fog has rolled in as you climb, obscuring your view of the surroundings. You stop at the summit to catch your breath, and as you do, the mist clears. In the distance, the now familiar sight of the Tree of Iron looms. Its jet-black branches hung in the sky above. It seems closer here, but like before, the perspective seems skewed somehow, making it difficult to judge. As you stare, you suddenly start to feel dizzy. It's like staring into a vast abyss, where every step closer makes you want to throw yourself into the nothingness. But instead of the feeling of nothingness, there's a short sensation of an intricate weave making up what you see before you. The tree is what limits and arranges everything around you into something we can understand. It is the rightful punishment. It's blind justice. It is the promise of boundless mercy and love. It is infinity and forgiveness. But it is a broken promise and a false mercy. Somehow beneath that incomprehensible order of symbolic opposites is another power. An antagonistic and irreconcilable influence spewing a poisonous aura. It's the punishment without justice or reason, torture for pleasure, and a deep craving for humiliation. Your eyes wander from the imposing view of the tree to the village that you came from beneath the hill. Among the houses, dark shapes of animals start to emerge. They crawl, slither, and tear their way forward to catch a glance of the tree, and as they do, they howl and shriek frantically at the sight. But you have seen these creatures enough times to know that they're not really animals. They are a perverted meld of animal and human parts, and now you finally understand what you've suspected but did not want to accept. They are what you are turning into, what Christian is turning into, and this is what happened to your parents. Perhaps your parents are down there right now. You grit your teeth. I need to find Tenzin before it's too late, you think. Climbing down the opposite side of the hill, you arrive in a part of the small village that you haven't been through yet. It seems that most of the creatures have moved away towards the tree. This should make it possible to investigate the village undisturbed, you think. After reaching the bottom of the hill, your path is blocked by a fence surrounding an animal pen. It seems that the pen is empty at first, until you notice something crawling in the dirt. It's a man, crawling, trying to get up. He's wearing a chain around his neck. His face is caked in mud and dried blood, and his body looks like it's been burned, beaten, cut, and maimed. He raises his head up and grins. A row of golden teeth shimmer between his swollen lips. "Tenzin!" you call out. Tenzin raises a trembling hand at you. "You came back, Eva," he says in his croaking voice before he pauses. "No, you're not Eva, are you?" "No," you say with your jaw clenched, "I'm not. I'm her only child." "Oh yes, I remember you. You were so little. Have you come to help me?" "That depends. What happened to my parents is happening again. Can you help me?" "So we got to them. They ran out of time," Tenzin says quietly to himself. Yes, of course I will help you. But you have to get me out of here, quickly. They will soon come back." "Who?" you ask. "The ones that did this to me. They keep doing this to me. Over and over." He points behind you. You turn around and see them rounding the corner of a nearby house. Tenzin starts wailing in fear as they approach. There's two of them. The first has a pig's head stapled to a human body. Its hands are claws and it's carrying a large whip. The second runs on all fours. Its human joints have been reshaped to match that of a dog, and he snaps his sharpened teeth aggressively. You need to fight. It's your only option. The creatures lunge at you. You try to fend them off with your steel pipe, but they savage your flesh as you try to hold them off. They are incredibly strong. As you feel the pain they have inflicted on you, something overtakes you. The anger and the frustration that you have felt during the last few days explodes into a frenzy of violence. You keep going and going with the steel pipe until all that remains are steaming piles of meat and bone on the ground. You wipe their blood from your face and turn to Tenzin again. "This is your chance," Tenzin croaks. Quickly you help Tenzin to his feet and start leading him out of the pen. "This way," Tenzin says and points to a nearby hut. You make it inside and Tenzin starts rummaging around until he finds a gray canvas bag. He takes out a piece of coal and draws a circle with a hook inside on the ground. Then he closes his eyes and mutters a few words. As he does, a thick mist starts to fill the room, making it impossible to see the walls. When the fog clears, you are back in the harbor. The night bus stands right in front of you, like it never left. The doors of the bus slam behind you as you help Tenzin towards the back. He sinks down with a loud wheezing sigh, looking like he might just lose consciousness. "Hey," you shout, "stay with me." He turns and looks at you with his watery, tired eyes before he goes limp again and his eyes roll back into their sockets. You cannot let him fade out. You shake him and continue talking. "You need to help me. I saved you. I came back for you. You owe me." Yes, of course I'll help you," he mumbles. "I can help you. I know what it is that's happening to you, and those around you." "What is happening?" "You are becoming part of the flock. Soon you will go with them, with the other beasts. Like the creatures back there? Yes, he sighs. Only through prayer have I been able to keep away from being wholly consumed by his spirit. But I have never been able to leave. What was that place where I found you? Hell. My hell. A distorted version of where I used to live, my home. The creatures, the animals, you used to hurt them? You used to slaughter them? Yes. That's what you wanted to bring to people that you saw all around you, suffering? You wanted to ease their pain? A smile starts to form on his chapped lips. It was never about mercy or anyone else's pain. It was always about pleasure. My pleasure. The passion of Cain. And the promise of the Tree of Iron. People are so much more rewarding to hurt than animals, don't you agree? My parents, you start to say. Yes, he says. They're probably back there somewhere, but they're not your parents anymore. You killed them, you say, trying to stay calm. No, he says. I introduced them to this. I nudged them along, but the choice was theirs. You feel your eyes fill with tears of anger and hate. Will you help me or not? Of course, he says. Did you bring the nail that I asked for? You pull out the black iron nail and hand it to him, and he takes it with shaking hands. Finally, he hisses. I'm about to be free. You watch as he raises his hand, gripping the nail. He peers at it very close. His eyes now hold a focused gleam rather than a tired gaze. Then he thrusts the nail towards his right temple. The black iron eats its way inside of his head with a crack. Blood and brain matter oozes out of the wound, spilling all over his upper body as you watch in shock. You are sure he just killed himself. But then his mouth and eyes open wide and he begins to stutter. There's no release. There's no salvation. I'm still here. He turns and looks around in panic. There's no death. I was already dead. He pulls out the bloody nail from his head and looks at it bewildered. The bus stops violently with a screech of the brakes. Tenzin drops the nail and it hits the floor with a metallic clang. Looking out the window, you see two figures emerging from the shadows. They're coming for me. They're bringing me back. I'll be there forever, Tenzin whispers as the two tall men wearing blood-red masks enter the bus. They are wrapped in chains that have been fastened to their bodies with large, sharp hooks. Making their way to Tenzin, they throw their metal chains around him. The hooks dig into his flesh, and you just stare as the figures pull him down on the floor and off the bus screaming, leaving a trail of blood behind. You just stare out of the window as the bus drives off. Tenzin disappears in the darkness. Your eyes fill with tears. Not for Tenzin's sakes, he deserves to be in hell for eternity, but for the loss of hope. For you, for Christian, and for Julia. There's nothing anyone can do now. Your time will run out, and you will join Tenzin in hell, awaiting the promised pilgrimage to the Tree of Iron and the foundation of the Church of Cain. This was episode 6 of our Deep Waters playthrough, a new solo scenario for Kult Divinity Lost published by Helmgast. If you want to find out how your personal playthrough will unfold, please find all the links in the description below. If you like what we do, please consider supporting us on Patreon or here on YouTube for early and ad-free access. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel so YouTube knows that we're doing something right. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, this is Lorefall.